What's going down, YouTube town? It's your boy CaptNRetro, and we are here for some live talking retro with me and my homeboy EmceeMur. What's going on, Mur?
Greetings and salutations.
How's it been, man? You've been to Disney.
Yeah, it's been quite a holiday.
Now, you did go to Disney. We did not do a show last week because Mur was out of town, but that's why we're trying to get one in this week before the week's over and before the year's over. This is the last podcast of the year, it looks like.
Indeed.
Pretty cool, huh? The damn year goes by way too fast. I know that much. I know that's just... it was 2015 a year ago, and it's about to be 2018. No, we've had 2 years since last time I thought it was that. Shakita Daniels, what's going on? Cool ass Robert Payne, what's going on?
Lots to talk about today.
Well, thanks to the congrats on 1,000 subs. I actually hit that about a month ago, but I appreciate it. That's we're pushing. We're trying to get Mur to that 300 mark. What do you have, Mur? What you got past 250, right?
256 today.
Fuck yeah. I actually haven't gained a new sub in a while. I keep losing them because I don't put up any new shows. I haven't made a new CaptNRetro episode in 2 weeks, and I've just been busy. I've got issues with my computer right now, taking the footage off of my phone and actually putting it onto my computer. It will not recognize the stuff that's on the cloud, or it's on my phone, but it won't take it off my phone onto the computer, so I can't edit it with Final Cut. I'm about to have to get a new phone or something. I'm not sure exactly what the next step is. It is. I've got a lot of footage on my phone backed up and ready to go here. Stuff I've, filmed while I was out finding stuff and doing things, but it's just I can't get it off the phone, so it makes me sad that I can't, edit it and make it into an episode. But that's neither here nor there. That's not what we're here today for. What we're here today for is Mur's got topics, I've got topics, and we are about to rattle them off. So, Mur, whenever you're ready, buddy, go ahead.
So the first order of business tonight that we've really got to talk about is going to be this. Switch titles still releasing late and as much as $20 over competitors' retail. And that's not the only problem that I have with them. That's just the tip of the iceberg. But what we have to ask first and foremost is it fair to pay a premium for a late release with lower resolution and frame rates just for the sake of the game being portable? A loaded question.
You know where my answer is going to be on this. No, that's not fair.
Well, that's where I'm at with it too. And as much as I want to back their play on anything they do, they being Nintendo, we have to talk about the fact that, and here's an example, they came out with a game that's already on the PC. It's called Box Adventures. Or so. You're a box. It's a cardboard box flying around. Okay, humor me for a second. This is on PC. It's on Steam for $3. Molly has it. $3. You can buy it. It's already out on PlayStation, ported over to PS4, $20 because it's an indie game. It's not out for the Switch yet. It's going to be $30, and it's still not out. Why would I wait, assuming I want to play a cardboard box game? Why would I wait and pay $30 for that later when I could either have it for $20 now on my PS4 or for $3 now on a PC? Why would I do that?
Yeah. It's the same thing like, full price for Skyrim, full price for these games that are ports. Well,
this is leading up to the big question. Is this viable long term for portability alone? I
don't think so.
I don't think it. Everyone's like, the Switch sold all these copies. It's going to be the best system ever. Nintendo's thriving. And okay. That's fine. Enough of the fantasy. Let's talk reality. Is this viable long term just for portability's sake? Given the failure, for another example, of WWE 2K18, can we expect more failures at that level? And is that numbering third parties' days with this system? I mean, Skyrim is fine for what it is. I mean, it's fun, but it looks better on my PS4.
Right.
And if we're going to see more of these games come out with, crappy face models, character models, if they just can't run the way they can on PS4 or Xbox One, and they're not games you really even have to have portable in the first place. Is that numbering third parties' days with this console?
The 2K18 thing is that's a big license. And it's the only damn wrestling game you get every year, right? So if you do that once is a stumbling block. If that happens 2 or 3 times, you got big problems. So,
and I think it's going to happen again.
Now they're not saying that the version of that. I have not played either version of. I haven't played a WWF game since I think 15. With the one with Stone Cold on the cover, that might have been 14. But they're all the same. Like, again, that's another game like Madden that has very little iteration of something new worth playing it, and it's just another spit out copy of the same game every 6 months. They shovel out another version of those games at you. So is it a bad game on PS4 as well as being on Switch and being bad, or is it just bad overall game?
Oh, no, it's bad on Switch. I mean, if you compare it, I mean, it could be bad on other consoles, too. I'm not a fan of those 2K wrestling games, the way the controls are and everything. But you look at the character models versus, what they are on PS4, they look terrible. It looks like a bad PS2 game. So, again, that's not saying other people, other publishers can't do better with their respective games when they bring them to the Switch. But that also suggests that this is not necessarily an isolated incident, that this can happen again. Another great example is this, and Shakita Daniels likes my hat. It was a pre-order by me. You still may be able to find one out there. It is neat. It's a great fitting hat, I got to admit, for a free hat. I didn't have high expectations. But Doom is another great example. Doom has been out for a while. Doom is out on PS4. You can pick it up for $17 retail, brand spanking new. It's $60 on the Switch. Why do I want to pay that? Well, first of all, I would not play Doom portably. It's not a role-playing game. It's not a game I'm going to spend 200 hours on. I have no need to take that with me. Why would I? And everyone's like, oh, Doom on the Switch. Can you believe it? Is it worth it? No.
Did you take a picture like that?
No, it's not. That's not exciting to me at all. $60 for a game I can go pick up in the bargain bin and it looked better. That's not exciting in the least. I'm not dogging it. I'm just saying, again, the question, is it viable long-term just for portability's sake? I don't think it is. They're about to release Payday 2 for the Switch, and I'm sure everyone's going to have that same reaction. Payday 2! Can't believe it! OMFNG! But
5 years old again.
Payday 2 has been released 3 times already, and it was only $20 in its infancy.
Yeah,
it's $50 on the Switch. Why would I want that?
I don't get it. I told you I thought about buying FIFA on there just to have a portable, a portable sports game on my Nintendo, but I can't justify spending fucking $45, $50 on a dumbed down version of a game. So I'll wait till I get it cheap. But eventually, I do want to play FIFA on there. Don't get me wrong. I do want to see what it's rocking and what I like. Soccer games. I like baseball, soccer, football games, basketball games. Basketball games probably the least of my sports games, but I have actually been playing. I picked up. Where the hell did I put the box? It's right there. NBA 2K14, the one with LeBron on the cover. I got that for $2 American at Video Game Trader in Buford, and that's about how much I'll spend on a basketball game.
There you go.
$2 American.
We're going by, looks like Woodbury-ian. Fluffy's here. We got Fluffy Gamer in the house. Krillin64 says he likes the Switch, but only a hybrid system. Jack of all trade, master of none. And I get what you're saying, and that's what really raises all these questions is we buy this system for the Nintendo first-party goodness, and if they can make a living off of selling us just that, then forget anything I'm saying here. It no longer becomes
which is what they've been doing since the 64.
Right, but 90% of their library now is their attempts at third-party, which it seems like they're tripping over, and buckets and bin loads of indie games that I couldn't give a crap less about. And they're topping up at $40 and $50, some of them. And it's like, especially the ones that are already on PC, you go to Steam and it's $7.99. What the hell do I want that for? I don't even want it to begin with. So it just asks the question, is that numbering third parties' days on this console if they can't succeed at it, or if it just doesn't sell?
I mean, again, I think if the game is a port of something that's been out for a while, I don't understand the price point, especially if you're getting a shitty version of it or a shittier version of it.
And I think that will continue. And you're also talking about online communities that are either not developed or just non-existent on games that would actually depend on that existing. So, I mean, I can tell you right now, NBA Live 18, that's not a Switch game, but nobody's playing it, so it's useless.
Right.
You know, so we're talking about games that have an online presence.
Ty Lord Stevenson says, "Don't ruin this for me, fellas. I want watered down console games on a portable. I prefer portable." He wants his watered down console games.
And that's good. That's a good, I mean, so if enough people say that, then I have nothing to worry about. And I'm not asking these questions, again, to clarify, that to bust on the Switch or Nintendo. I'm not. I know it's only going to be able to do what it's going to do, but I think they're stretching a bit far, expecting us to buy every third-party game that ever existed again on this system. I don't want them on that. I wouldn't play them on that. I'm ready for Octopath Traveler. I'm ready for any more first-party stuff that's going to come our way. I'm ready for any of those indie titles that might be in-depth RPGs or nod to 8 and 16-bit goodness, provided they're playable and actually have the depth. I'm ready for that. But I am not interested in buying every game I have on Xbox and PS4 again for the Switch. I'm not interested in that.
Right.
Skyrim got a pass because I love it. And in hindsight, that wasn't worth it either.
I will say I'm really enjoying Retro City Rampage. It's pretty decent. It's like 8-bit and 8-bit Grand Theft Auto. It's pretty awesome. But again, that's a game that's been out on PS4 and other systems, right? It's nothing exclusive.
Yeah, and for like pennies. I mean, I've seen that game as low as $5.
Yeah, I think I paid $20 to download it. So,
and speaking of things that should be digital, if you don't mind, if I step right into my next.
Oh, please keep it flowing. We've only got an hour. Keep it going.
Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection is a dick move. It's not something to celebrate. All of YouTube, all the tryhards out there, oh, they're giving the fans what they want. No, they're not.
They could have. They
already gave us the Ultra Street Fighter. We paid $40 for Ultra. $40 for Ultra Street Fighter, okay? That's a stretch, and I paid it because I'm a fan. I'm a Street Fighter guy. But that could have been a $15 download. Let's get real. They're the ones wanting to push digital all the time anyway over there in Switch land. But anyway, we got that Ultra Street Fighter thing, and then now they're going to release this Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection with, those games and more. And I'm going to have to buy it again, and I'm not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it.
And neither will I.
If these people want to get so excited about it, maybe they don't pay for their games. I don't know. I do, so I'm not excited about that. Everybody wants to chastise EA and give them hell about things, and in a lot of cases they deserve it. But why does Capcom get a pass? You can't tell me when they released Ultra Street Fighter they didn't know this damn thing was coming out in a few months. So they're really sticking it to us here. I would not buy both. You're going to get a lot more with this collection, but that's just not fair, man.
So the same games, you're saying the other game's going to be on there too, and a couple of new ports of different.
It's got I think it's like 10 games on it. Street Fighter 3 Alpha plus Beta minus Zeta Online the third. But you know what? No, that's not fair. I gave you $40 for a copy of Street Fighter 2, and now you want me to give you $60 or whatever for those two plus 8 more?
Right.
No. You knew this was coming. You shouldn't have done that. They shouldn't have both come out. That's not fair. That's just, you knew what you were doing to the customer because you knew they would buy both. Well, maybe they won't. I'm not, if I'm proof. But I don't think Capcom gets a pass on that. I'm not happy about it. Why be excited? You don't already own all those damn Street Fighter games? All these people singing their praises are collectors like us. You don't already have 5 million copies of Street Fighter in your dadgum room? I know I do. I don't even damn play them. Do you really need a collection with 500 on them for $60? I bought the Ultra Street Fighter trying to be a fan, trying to back you up, trying to support you. And look at that. You freaking backdoor me with this collection crap. I'm not buying it. I refuse. So why does Capcom get a pass? Throw them down in the pit there with EA if you want to spit and poop on some people. They deserve it because that's a crap freaking move. And I don't hear anybody saying it, but people in the comments of some of these respective videos where people are so excited about it. And I'm glad you're excited about it. Maybe you didn't get screwed on Ultra Street Fighter, but I did, and I'm not happy.
I love your fire, man. The intensity. I love it.
Well, it's a dick move. You can't tell me they didn't, you can't tell me that a company doesn't know 4 months later was coming out. You can't tell me they don't know that. So Ultra Street Fighter, or however many months it was, but $40 and you want another 60, that's ridiculous. That's like saying, here's half a hamburger for $5. Oh, I'm so hungry, I'll take it. Okay, well, here's the whole hamburger and fries, and it's going to be $7. Well, I already got the half a hamburger for $5. It's not fair. It's just not fair, and they know that.
Should we start calling the Switch dick move the console?
Well, I don't want to say a joke because the collection will be available for all systems. This is on Capcom. This isn't on Nintendo.
Right. But I'm just in general.
And they don't get a pass. I just don't understand. And this is where gamers are so fickle and so bandwagony. It's so fashionable to bash EA. And again, I'm not saying you don't have reason, and we'll get to that later. Don't worry. EA is going to get theirs. But Capcom doesn't get a pass. You're just, oh, Mega Man, Capcom. No, you don't get a pass. You don't. You screw me, you don't get a pass. I'm going to call you on it. I'm going to call you on it faster than a cereal scalper. I'm going to call you on it. That's some bullshit.
We're going to talk any about that? You want to talk about some cereal scalping?
I don't. Enough's been said about it. It's silly. I forgot.
Yeah, it's just funny that you got kind of pulled into the Kosharsky thing with it because of the Facebook post.
No, I don't want to talk about that.
Doesn't want to talk about it. Well, just know there's assholes out there scalping cereal, and EmceeMur did the right thing. I'm just gonna say that.
I didn't. I had nothing to do. I've never seen the cereal. I've never bought any of it. It doesn't exist. You had some topics too, though. I want to move into what you were talking about. You said you had some things. I don't want to run all over this thing here. We've got to get some captain in this cast here.
Well, the captain's just laid back, and all I've been doing is searching for stuff for the last couple of weeks. But I did have a couple little things I had come across in my travels. Go ahead and let me pull up that note sheet. I got to take that second. Go ahead with your next topic, and I'll get my stuff ready for the next one.
Well, while we're on things that, we talked about EA and them getting theirs, and it wouldn't hurt to go ahead and segue into something that, God, it's almost going to sound like I'm back in their play, and you and I have talked about this. Battlefront 2 simply cannot be as bad as they're saying it is. And we're going to stream some of that on my channel later on, probably this weekend. You've seen enough people stream it. You don't need to see me stream it, but you do need to hear me talk about it, and you do need to hear me analyze it, because I think this was nothing but a bandwagon move from word one. Game Informer hands it down a 6.5. Which that's a bandwagon score, bounced off the discontent from all the microtransaction hate. And I'm sorry, when did microtransactions in a game become a deal breaker? We've got people paying $3,000 for virtual crap in an iPhone app, and now you want to cry about Star Wars? I'm sorry, I just don't see the problem. You asked for this, and if you're a person that doesn't buy microtransactions, good for you. Maybe you're not validating the business practice, but everybody else is. Anything else that's pay to win, there's people on it paying to win. So we validated that as a business practice. Madden does it every dadgum year. I'm just saying, what's good for the goose has got to be good for the gander. Ain't nobody ripping Madden another butthole, and I'm not saying you should. But why was Star Wars just, oh my God, Star Wars? It was just such a hot thing for people to go ape on the internet, screaming about this thing and calling for Disney to revoke their license to do Star Wars. Calm down. I mean, I get that maybe it was a little intrusive the way it was stacked or whatever. Maybe the business model of that particular microtransaction setup was somewhat off-putting. But as a whole, I'm just saying gamers asked for this. We have nothing but third and first person shooters out there with loot packs that you can buy and pay to win, or pay for a little edge, or maybe just cosmetic. But either way, who cares? If you're good enough, none of that stuff's really going to matter. I don't believe it deserves as much hate as it got. I think this was a huge bandwagon. Everybody.
It's the Star Wars aspect. It's because it was Star Wars. That name brings in people that aren't gamers, and it brings in people all around the world of, fans to play a game, or like that might be a console seller to somebody, is this whole new Star Wars game. And I think the overblown reaction to all this paying and buying shit was bound to come. It's happened before. It's bubbled up intensely before in other games, and the levee was just going to have to break at some point. And this shit, I'm sick of microtransactions to the point where they help you in game. If it's something for like Rocket League does, where it's just you can get new cars and you can get new skins and shit, that's cool. But like, who would buy that? I don't get it, but kids do, and they're always, I always see a kid with a different car. But if it's something that can make you a better, like if I can pay $1,000 and outplay you because I paid more, that's not right. And that's
not right. There's got to be a balance. There has to be small edge and cosmetics, and that's it. No edge at all to me gets boring, because
a small edge, but an earned edge. I mean, if you're 100 hours deep into a thing, that gun should be a little bit more powerful than anybody else's gun that's not at your level. But like, yeah. It needs to be way more balanced than I've got a bigger bank account and I can outgun you with that.
And that's it. And it's one of those things to where, I played a lot of Overwatch. You played Overwatch. That got boring quick for me because, I mean, how much?
Yeah, I haven't played it again.
I don't care. It's cosmetic. I don't care. It doesn't do anything. There's no reason to level up. I mean, it's fun to play the game, but it got boring because I really wasn't working for anything anymore. Call of Duty has got a loot pack system again this year. Some of it has XP boost on some of the weapons. I mean, that doesn't really give you a definitive edge or anything, but it will allow you to level up and unlock things faster than other people. That could be misconstrued as an edge, or it could be conceived as an edge, depending on who you ask.
Right. Fluffy Gamer says, I spent about $1,000 on multiple mobster accounts on MySpace back in the day. I remember that game, the mobster game on MySpace. That shit was fun, but I'd never spent a real nickel on it.
And you're not wrong for having done that. You're not wrong for that. But, people have done microtransactions for ages now. I mean, World of Warcraft makes you pay $15 every time an elf farts, and that's one of the biggest things going and always will be. I just, like you said, at some point the levee's got to break, and that's got to break the camel's hump or whatever.
I just think it was the name of Star Wars, the weight of the attachment of that series to something.
They really went crazy.
And the new movie was coming out. Like, it all kind of came to a head right here at the end of the year. Star Wars, they were doing the release of the game in November, was it? Somewhere November, beginning of November is when that came out, right?
Honestly, I don't know, but I went ahead and it's already, the price is plummeting. Well, I wanted to talk about that too for people that do still want to buy it.
I'll get on it when it's cheap. Yeah, I don't think I won't. I liked the first one a lot. Me and you will definitely get on there, and when I
ended up getting it for $30 shipped with a free Funko Pop figure of Darth Maul. Thank you. So, but that's because people hate it. If it had actually done well, it'd still be $60 right now. So,
right.
And I think it may deserve to be. We will talk about what EA has done wrong because it's a lot, but I just don't really feel like this was necessarily it. I have a different problem with EA right now. We'll get to that in a minute, but if you've got your topics listed up, I would be interested to hear what you've got to throw my way.
Just some weird things. Nothing too terribly serious. I had a realization that the new Mario game is more of a Kirby game than it is a Mario game, and that's another reason why it's so fun to me. Like, I love Kirby games, and it's kind of the same thing. You're stealing these powers and shit with your hat, and you're using other things' equipment, and it's very much a Kirby-esque Mario. And that's not really
a way to look at it. I didn't really think about it like that, but yeah.
Not really a topic per se. It's just some thoughts that I had in my head. I got my little notepad open here.
Well, I like Odyssey a lot more than I thought I would. I thought it'd be a little abstract for my taste, but I would still think it was neat. But I think it's a triumph.
I've gone back to play it some more. I beat it, and I've turned it back on to go run through it again. So that's saying something for a Mario game to me, or for any game to me. It does immediately beat it and then want to play it again.
Yeah, I think it's wonderful.
If you need on the home front, if you need a Switch Pro controller, I know you have one, but there's a pawn shop out here near me. If anybody out there listening wants one of these, I think I might go by there tomorrow and grab the other three he had. But he had these for $30 used Switch Nintendo brand Pro controller for $30. If somebody wants one, give me $5 to ship it. I'll pick them up and get them out to people who need them, because I know they run like fucking $80 brand new, $79.99 or whatever it is, ridiculous.
Yeah, they're high. They're good workmanship though. When you hold it, you
Oh,
can
you can
feel
tell,
80 bucks.
dude. Yeah, you can tell this little controller is put together well.
Yeah, I was very impressed with it right out of the box, and I was afraid I would not be like, God, why did I buy that too? But I was so glad I bought it. Bought it on launch, and I was glad that I had it. I use it more than anything.
Sunshine is my
I
favorite.
don't really use.
Sunshine is my favorite too, Fluffy. In fact, if you go and watch that last episode I did, that was the other podcast I was on my channel, the Last Strike Gamecast. That was one of the topics, was why do I think Sunshine is better than 64, and we went into that, not terribly in depth.
That was a good topic. That was a really good topic.
And I've always felt that it's just a smoother playing game to me, and it's lighter and funner and funner. That's not a word. More fun, and it's the music.
It is now because we're from the South and games were funner.
That game's more funner, man. Shit, more funner.
Woodbury and chimes in here. He doesn't like the fact that you can buy your way to being better than someone that is good. You know, speaking in competitive online gaming,
right?
And yeah, you should not be able to do that. I mean, if you look at a game like Battleborn did a neat thing with their loot boxes. Not trying to jump back into that, but just for instance, a weapon might have 7% more damage output. That's not gonna. I mean, if a guy headshots you with his respective weapon, that 7% is not a factor. He's still gonna get you. You just may win a couple more one-on-ones than you would have for the time that you have that active. And most of those things aren't permanent either. So, you know, as long as it's nothing like that. And I think there were some things in this Battlefront that were a little too like, hey, wait a minute, that's not fair. Again, I can't speak. I haven't played it, and the adjustments have already been made to it. So I'm coming in after the bell on that. But
right.
I think just on graphics and sound and campaign and all that alone, 6.5 is pretty rough to give this game.
It's below average. Right?
It looks and sounds amazing. And I'm not even one of these Star Wars nuts. I mean, I love it, but...
You remember having LAN parties? That was another topic. I want to bring back the LAN party. I know it's not... You know, you don't necessarily need it the other day. But the other day I went over to my buddy Josh's house, and him and his son were set up in their living room playing each their own respective PlayStation 4s, you know, playing the same game with each other. And it just reminded me of going to a LAN party back in the day, like hanging out and playing Halo with
When that was big, I was not gaming online. I was still all retro and was just not interested in any of that. And I kind of missed out on that whole era.
Right. I went to a couple
all the way up and through when the GameCube came out. I was still only playing retro, and I just wasn't paying attention to new things. I was almost kind of offended by it. Like, I'm not buying any more systems. It's all been done. I don't need anything else. And I thought that way for a long time.
The elitist view of, no, it's been done. You can't top my old stuff. Fuck
well,
you.
There's been a lot of talk about elitism and collecting and retro gaming, and it's like I was that 20 freaking years ago. So I'm an elitist.
Right.
I was back then. I was like, man, y'all go ahead and buy all your Halos and all that and do all you want with it. I'm not worried about it. I'm still over here playing Zexes on the NES, so have a good time.
I do have one more. I hate saying the word number two. I seem to use it a lot, and I have
it doesn't bother me. Oh my god, I said too much. Has never bothered me. It's just a natural thing, kind of like a whole nother.
Yeah, a whole nother.
But anyway, what you got?
And there it was again. It's a natural thing that comes out when you are flustered for something to say. You know what I mean? Like I don't try and say it, and I don't try and use it in sentences, and it's not something I think of that I'm about to utter. It just falls out of your head. And I have a little sign over here that says "Get rid of ums and pauses." Try not to let anything pause. I try and keep little notes over here to keep the show going. There's really not the other thing. Steam's had a winter sale going on. If you're on Steam, I'm not on Steam, but they do have. I think their winter sale is still going on, so there's all kind of good stuff to go download and play over there. I do need to get me a PC. That's the next thing. I really do need to get me a PC so I can start gaming, because I'm a point and click guy. I like old point and clicks, and it's been a minute since I played some Space Quest. I bought that. I found that Sierra Space Quest collection. It's got like 6 of them on there. I want to play it. So it's time for a PC. Go back to your topics, man. My topics are stupid. They're mostly like little thoughts, and they're not really topics.
Well, I'm not really done bashing on EA yet. And again, I'm being fair. Capcom got off light. EA and BioWare, man. This Anthem game, the MMO, the Destiny killer, Anthem still has to launch amidst this Battlefront 2 controversy. Anthem still has to launch as the Destiny killer amidst the fact Destiny 2 flopped and Destiny killed itself. It has to launch also, and to me, this is the biggest one, amidst knowledge that a new Dragon Age exists.
Uh-oh.
Which, of course, is BioWare. So they sold out Mass Effect Andromeda. We know they sidestepped that, subbed it out to a C team so that they could work on this Anthem thing. They're busted, and they didn't mind busting themselves. They came right out with this thing at E3 thinking they were going to beat down Destiny, when come to find out Destiny didn't need to be beat down. Destiny beat itself down. Destiny 1 technically failed. It wasn't what it was supposed to be. So
No,
2
I
wasn't
felt
going
lied
work.
to. I felt as lied to by that game as I was by no.
Get out of here with this shit. So it didn't need to be killed. And they bring out this Destiny killer. An MMO? Really right now? I'm going to buy an MMO from EA right now? It's not going to happen. I could not be less interested in that. And it's just another spacesuit jump around thing, which I never had a problem with, but everybody insisted on getting on this boots on the ground kick for World War II Call of Duty. Well, hey, I was wrong. This is fun. I'm actually really enjoying it. So, yeah, and that's irrelevant. But we definitely don't need another first-person.
It's not irrelevant. It's not irrelevant to say that a big major studio game is fun. That was a good point.
Well, and but I was fine with futuristic games continuing, but it's like we're almost kind of saturating the market now, and this Anthem is going to be the same thing but an MMO. And if it's EA, it's not going to be like a Defiance MMO where you don't really have to pay if you don't want to. It's going to be pay to win, pay to do all that. It'll be card packs and edges and pay to win. That's going to be going on. And again, since we know that they sacrificed Mass Effect Andromeda, which is a dagger in my heart, for the sake of this piece of crap that may not have 2 years under its belt, whereas Mass Effects are timeless games, we have to know that Dragon Age 4 is in the works. And again, this is BioWare. So have they subbed this out to a C team too? Because Anthem's not out yet. How much more needs to go on that? And how many eggs, if you will, are in that Anthem basket? How important is it that succeed? Can they drop it at this point? Can they just say, scrap it, let's focus on it? Because honestly, I'll take a Dragon Age 4 over an MMO any day of the week. And man, I wish that Mass Effect had worked out. I really don't know how BioWare themselves can ever bounce back from that.
It's a big company. I mean, but I did not play part 3. If that's what is that part 3, Andromeda?
Andromeda is 4th, and it's technically a prequel, but in this case,
okay, it's the one I didn't play. Then I played 1, 2, and 3, and yeah, I never played the newest one. So you're telling me it's Abomination?
Well, I haven't even put it in yet, but I didn't even get a chance to. That's how much everyone's like, oh my God. And boy, when you look at the faces, the character models, the animation, it's worse than Mass Effect 3, which was a last-gen game and was beautiful. So, yeah, this was subbed out to BioWare Montreal or something, some D team. Here, can y'all finish this for us? We want to work on Anthem.
They were making an Uno game last week, and now they got to do this.
Yeah, so it's just
Woodbury says Mass Effect died with Shepard.
And it can't, though. It can't, because those games were influenced by even greater games, Star Control and Starflight, the lineage. So much is killed with that. Would Nintendo offer Mario up as a sacrificial lamb to go work on an MMO?
No.
So, I mean, in what sense did that make to go ahead and throw that under the bus? And again, why do I even have to ask the question, are they doing that with a Dragon Age game? How dare you even think about that? But maybe they're doing it. Maybe they're doing it. We don't know who's working on that. Maybe somebody does. Maybe that information's already out there. But how could you even believe it? I mean, we listen, the last few years, we've been lied to and smacked around by some publishers, man. Destiny, you were just talking about how you felt lied to. That's just another huge example of, hey, it's going to be this, but it's this. Yeah. And then it continued that way. Destiny didn't stop there. They're like, oh, it's going to be a 10-year product. Destiny 2? You can have 2 Destinies. There's only one. You have one Destiny.
I mean, every company does it though. Apple.
What am I, a cat? I got 9 lives over here. You don't have
when the first iPhone hit, Apple claimed you'd never have to change a battery, and now that and since the iPhone 6 has come out, and then the new ones are coming out. The 6s and the 6S's and all the 7s have been slowed down for some reason, and Apple has now decided to give people a $30 battery change instead of being like $80, which is so a $50 discount on come get a battery swap to make your phone just as good as it was before you did an update to it for some reason. I don't understand that. And it's the same thing. It's this fucking like, I know that there are things made to be, there's a certain time period, for stuff to work, and then it falls apart. So you have to replace it. That's what do they call that cycle? It's something, back in the day, American products, washing machines, dishwasher, shit like that were made very sturdy, very well. But nowadays they're like, oh, you get about 7 years out of that before it's time to change it. Like what? It's a degrading pattern, so they have to sell you another one. And it's the same thing happens to video games, dude. Like there is a degrading pattern, and they've got so much money coming in and so much things they're turning around, and there becomes a degrading pattern of quality the longer you go in a series normally. And especially when they start handing off the shit to D teams and B teams, and they've got 10 people building this game when the first game had 75. That's not good.
Well, to circle back to the original thought there, my original question, and I'm interested on anybody's answer and how they can weigh in on that. But does Anthem have a shot now? Amidst all those things I just said, it has to release with all that being common knowledge. Is anyone going to buy this game? Star Wars being the biggest nail in the coffin, because people are still obviously a lot hotter about that than I'm ever going to be. So, how's that going to work?
Never say never, but it scares me. I feel a shift coming towards that side of the game.
Everybody's mad at him about microtransactions. Someone, here's a new MMO full of microtransactions. How's that gonna fly?
We're joined by CMRetro Gaming. What's up, buddy?
Sure are.
Yeah, they're talking about their packages in the mail. I don't know. I hope that's what they're talking about, those kind of packages, and not their other packages.
I believe that they are.
What else you got, dude? What else you got? Again, my stuff is just little comments and goofy little jokes and things, and some of the things are like stuff I wanted to show on here. So I might, maybe towards the end, I'll pop up a couple pictures and put them on the screen.
Well, here is a fun one. Let's talk about classic sports games and what makes them, defines them as classics, because we consider more modern sports games to be garbage. Like if you picked up a copy of Madden 03.
Yeah.
So will any of the infinite sea of annual sports franchise-related titles ever become some of those valued classics? And have any already? So first question being, again, what defines a classic sports game as a classic?
It has to be, like what 2K1 was. NFL 2K, was it 2K1? I think it was 2K1 or 2K3. The one with Terrell Owens on the cover. Whichever one that.
And I actually had that noted here.
Is that 2K5?
Already, and ESPN 2K5. That's the one everybody goes back to. Oh man, 2K5 was awesome. 2K5 was awesome. That was the Madden killer, is what they.
It was, and that's what caused EA to buy out the rights to football forever in perpetuity.
It was a good game. I played many seasons on that, and I still have my copy on which I did.
Yeah, that was is it 2K5? Was it that late in the game?
Yep.
Damn.
T.O.
Well, the 2K series was, again, it was pick up and play, but everything felt right about those games.
It sure did. I mean, it was hammered on, buddy.
And for something like, again, now we know why games like 2K, was it college basketball 2K3 on the GameCube is worth a lot, because there was a limited print run, and
yes.
Not a lot out there. There's always going to be that outlier to why things become valuable. But unless it's like a game with a dude on the cover and that dude, like, was part of the Las Vegas shooters squad, like that game's not going to go up in value. Unless something happens where somebody does something ridiculously crazy in the media and becomes uber infamous or uber famous, I don't think those games are ever going to pull up value like that. I mean, there's so many of them every year. It's
so many.
And unless it's like a guy's rookie season, like the Michael Vick game, the Michael Vick Madden from 05, was that
04?
04, where he's overpowered and just outruns everybody. I would imagine that game commands a little bit more value on the scales than 05 or 06 or 07 do.
Definitely, yeah.
Just because of his running ability in that game. So stuff like that, like Tecmo Bowl is awesome. It's not a great football game by any stretch of the imagination. But for 8-bit football on a Nintendo, it's great. And the reason that game is beloved is because you can be Bo Jackson and run like a madman. So,
Apox in the house. We got Apox Gaming Collection here. CMRetro says the easy playability of games like ice hockey and RBI baseball is what makes them great, in his opinion. And Woodbury makes a good. He asks a good question here. What happened to Fight Night? And I can tell you the Fight Night engine was utilized in the later iterations of NHL. It was used in EA's MMA, which is what finally sold me on a 360 because I was like, oh my God, I got to play this shit. Doesn't really answer his question, though, does it? Why haven't we got another Fight Night? But, yeah, it is the playability, and it's maybe just the times and memories you have playing those with your buddies and fighting in the backyard about them, like Tecmo Bowl and Double Dribble and stuff like that.
Double Dribble,
and it's easy to know that those have defined themselves as classics for those reasons. But on to my second question, it does get a little harder on these modern sports games, and all these guys in here, you all collect, If you get to a yard sale and it's Madden 02, Madden 03, NCAA 04, you're like, eh. So you're obviously not very excited about those. But will any of those modern sports games become classics, and are they already? And we just established that ESPN 2K5 obviously was.
There are some of the EA big titles, the NFL FIFA Street games seem to hold a little bit of value. I wouldn't say they're extremely, valuable, but I think Street 2 goes for $15-20. I mean,
yeah, NFL Street brings some cash.
Some of those EA big series games, the Freak style, I've mentioned that game millions of times on my show, my podcast, but it's just a motorcycle racing game with tricks. You can do, knickknacks and can-can.
It's fun.
It's incredibly fun, and one of those games I can just sit and race, and I love it. And it's an EA game. You know what I mean? EA big. And what happened to EA big? Bring back EA big. Give me those fun arcade sport experiences. The NFL.
Well, EA could go a little retro on themselves and probably bring a little of that luster back, because it's so fashionable to hate EA ever since Battlefield 4. I have fond memories of buying directly from EA and playing their computer games and having nothing but good things to say about them. So,
right.
That's. I
mean, there's a reason they became a juggernaut. They
almost 30 years ago, man.
They were putting out everything back in the day, and then they honed in on sports somehow.
So, yeah, I've often wondered that. We think about Tecmo Bowl, we think about those kind of games that go without saying, even though they're sports games. But then you look at these piles of Maddens and say, does anybody still just say, oh, man, that's my jam, man. Madden 07 was biznom. Seen one, you've seen them all. But I tell you, you put one in and you can't help but play a few snaps if you're testing the copy. So it's like, I don't know. I really enjoyed March Madness 2004. I thought it had great playability. I still have a season going on that. I thought MLB 2K5. 2K5 was a hell of a year for 2K, by the way. MLB 2K5 was the last MLB 2K before the controls just got overcomplicated, and that took away from the fun. So there again, to build on what CM was saying, the playability. Once I lost that, I was no longer interested.
Right.
But for me, MLB 2K5 is a classic game because I've played 161 game freaking baseball seasons on it, which tells you that I liked it.
I guess, well, that goes back to FIFA Street, but NBA Street, those games, like I don't know why there's not more of those coming out. Those were huge at the time. NBA
And
Street,
arena football was really fun, even though no one cares about it in real life. I think people like the game.
yeah, the video game was quite fun. In fact, video rugby is fun. Video game rugby is fun if you've ever played a rugby game.
I played a few minutes of it. I've had a copy.
And I like soccer games. There's not, again, there's a trove of them. There are 3 different leagues of soccer that put out a game every year. It's FIFA. There's the winning side, I believe is what one of them's called, winning side or winning 11. Winning 11.
Oh yeah. I know what you're
And
talking about.
then there's the UEFA, like UEFA, the United International thing, whatever it is. But there's, if you want soccer games, there's soccer games. If you want tennis games, there's tennis games. But can you name a rare or a very sought after tennis game? Only one I could think of is Jimmy Connor's Tennis on the Nintendo, and that's, again, low print run. Not a lot of people had it, so that's why it's expensive. But there's not, I think sports as a genre in itself, something's going to have to happen to make that game stand out as something big, as in something infamous in real life. Reality happens and it's connected to that game somehow, or there's a misprint. You know what I mean? Like this is something weird. Like baseball cards used to have, like the one with Billy Ripken and the "fuck you" on the bottom of his baseball bat. They had to like go back and fix that. I've got that card, but like that's the kind of stuff that would make something pop, I think, in the future. And I just don't think you're going to get that. There's so much like quality control that goes on nowadays in the printing of manuals, and then they're not making manuals, but games, and the quality control is there, so there's not a lot of errors and misprints, and
Well, we've got some really good points being made here. Tyler Stevenson says there weren't as many sports games back then. They've been piling up for 30 years. And the production has been amped up on game after game. You know how many Maddens get left over every year.
Well, there used to be more. I think there used to be more sports games. There was the NCAA, all those NCAA games that were out there forever.
It's definitely skipped back because of the loss of NCAA. That's for sure. I just mean since the NES era. I mean, there weren't.
Well, even they had a lot too.
Because they didn't do Tecmo Bowl, 1990, Tecmo Bowl 1991, Tecmo Bowl 1992, Tecmo Bowl 1993.
Well, they did. They did Tecmo Bowl, Super Tecmo, Super Bowl, Tecmo Bowl 2, 3. All those.
They did do a lot. I just, you know what I mean, though, as far as being an annual thing.
Baseball games was like MVP. There was like fucking.
Oh God, yeah.
There was so many different baseball series back in the day.
And RBI 64 says, I would like to see a new NBA Jam on the Switch. And Woodbury says, I like Mutant League everything. So what we're talking about there is when we get, and you're talking about EA Big and stuff, we're talking about specialty sports games. Maybe that's what makes it. And maybe these people shouldn't focus so much on the annual releases, which I know they're always going to as far as Madden, but maybe they do need to make some of these specialty sports games, now to see if they can hit a home run with one of them, so to speak, because those have stood the test of time. We still want to play NBA Jam today. That still hangs.
Go back to the well.
Whereas, these annual games that really, let's face it, they exist only to sell microtransactions. I mean, a lot of us are just backing out of that. I was a guy that did Madden every year, and I'm done. I think a gold player can be rated 69 overall now. So give me a break. Oh, this is an ultra mega elite triple diamond player, and it's and he's like 85 overall. Just get out of here. I don't want to play your game anymore.
Not to mention all the pre-snap animations and shit that has to go down for you to even want to touch the controller after you hit the hike button and wait.
Well, they keep rethinking, and again, still building on what CM said, the playability. When you change it, you change the kicking, you change this, you change that. It's not the same game anymore, and nobody asked you to change it.
Right.
Any more than I get my favorite steak dinner somewhere, and they bring me out, a kale salad with an octopus testicle, and I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't. Oh, well, we changed it. Now it's this. It's like, well, I don't want that. Well, you got it. Well, that would be bullshit, wouldn't it? And it's so much worse with games because we don't know that. They don't come out and advertise, okay, we changed every single thing. They say they've made advancements or, they've enhanced it. But what they really mean is they let some numbnuts who flunked out of DeVry come in there and just rehash all the controls, and it's complete trash. And then it ends up being an entire model year of horrible Amazon complaints, 1 star a mile wide, from people complaining about what they did to it when it wasn't broken. They tried to fix it.
Right.
But we're running low on time.
Well, I got one last thing to show you here.
I was going to say, I'm going to turn it over to you for whatever else you've got. I could go on all night, but we need to save some for the next round.
I just threw a link into the comments. If you want to click on it, you can, but I'm going to go ahead and pull over the screen here. Show my screen. Let's do that. We're going to go right over here. And look at this. This is Mario Kart in VR. It's over on a Reddit. Somebody took this, and this guy on the right is playing the game.
Oh, my God. That would give me a panic attack.
And look, he's swapping his hand to grab the balloons, to grab the shell. And, like, holy crap, how much fun does that look like it would be in the little wiggling cart? Is that an arcade experience? What the hell's going on here? It does say arcade behind it. Mario Kart arcade.
I would literally need an extra pair of underwear.
How much fun would that be?
It would be fun.
That's the VR. That's what I'm with. I'm ready. We were just talking about VR in the comments, and I'm ready for some VR like that. Now, again, if you want to buy something like that for your house, you can't. You know what I mean? Like at the moment, but that's going to be the eventual future.
And to me, that's what it takes for it to be viable. Some goggles and a couple of Move magic wands. That ain't
right.
I ain't got it for anybody, even if they say it is.
I like the thing where they showed, the guy in the little, it's like an octagon thing, and he was kind of like strapped in and he's running around.
Yeah.
Like I got the idea that, that's kind of where it's got to go to be able to feel real, but like you're going to fall and hurt yourself on that goddamn thing. When they make a holodeck is when it's time to buy VR. When you can go get a Geordie LaForge holodeck and, that'll be it. But if I can go to an arcade and play Mario Kart VR, don't think I'm not going to an arcade to play some Mario Kart VR. So that's where I'm at. Oh, speaking of arcade, there is a brand new pinball arcade open in Kennesaw, Georgia called Portal. I was out there yesterday. I spent about 6 hours out there playing pinball like a maniac. $15 all day, all the pinball you can play. It's pretty incredible. So me and you and the little lady need to make our way out there.
I think that today was a good time with that. We were playing some pinball in Disney, and they got hooked on it pretty quick.
Well, let's go. We'll take little Molly out there, and we'll go have a pinball day and film it up for him and make it.
Even my wife was getting into it.
Well, bring her too. Bring the whole
family. Playing that Pirates of the Caribbean one over there, which is the same brand as your Ghostbusters.
Right. Stern. Yeah.
After 1 quarter, she was hooked, buddy. She was just rocking on there. It's who it was. It was fun. Super fun.
Very cool. Well, thank y'all all for watching and tuning in to this week's episode of the Talking Retro podcast. We will try and be back next week. I don't know if we are positive on that yet, but.
Well, before I go, I do want to say I am going to be doing a giveaway for 250 subs. I'm putting that together. So probably maybe a little before New Year's or shortly thereafter, we should have a video on that. And I do want to urge everyone also to check out the Gen X Grown Up podcast. You can probably throw a link for that down there in the description. But as some of you know, I was a guest on that the other weekend with John and his crew. And we had a pretty good little cast on there too. So hopefully we can bring some of our listeners on over there and vice versa. More good stuff going on over there. And not the same things we're talking about here. So
right.
I've always got new topics everywhere I go to air out. So I was honored to be a part of that. That was a lot of fun.
There's a link to Gen X's page there.
And besides just that, John's doing some really good stuff, and he's fixing to start doing some live streaming on really old vintage Atari stuff, which, that really gets me excited. So he's got some really great things coming on the way on his channel. And, I'm ready to move into 2018. I got a big first quarter coming up, a lot of day one releases. Be a lot to look forward to already. It's already shaping up to be a pretty expensive first quarter.
Yeah. Well, that's cool, man. I will do myself. I've got piles of stuff in here that I've picked up. If you can tell behind me, there's been a rearranging going on. I've found a whole bunch of cool shit, and I definitely need to make a video. But like I said, I can't get any footage off my phone. I've just been sad about that. So instead of just sitting in front of my webcam,
that's crazy.
I like to use my footage and put it in the episode and make it a little bit more,
Absolutely.
a little more fun. But I'll probably just sit here tonight, tomorrow, and go ahead and bang out a big pickup episode because I've got a lot of cool shit that I found lately. and I don't want to spoil any of it here. So we'll get back to it. But it's going to be 2018 is going to be awesome, and I can't wait for the new year. And
you and I have some big projects that
we definitely do. We got shit.
I don't want to talk about them yet. Don't want to tell anybody what we're doing yet. But me and you got a lot of big things coming too. So yeah it's going to be big. And
the bigger your kid gets, the faster we can get a hold of these things. So I know we're on baby patrol hideout for the moment, but the minute the kids,
it was a challenging year in that regard, but
it's got to be, dude. 39 and having a baby again? Are you crazy? Yeah. What's wrong with you people?
I know. But yeah, we'll definitely have more time to work, and it's good because there's definitely more things to work on.
Cool. Well, awesome, man. Good to talk to you again. I'm sure we'll talk before we go podcasting again. But thanks for everybody for watching and hanging out with the Captain Retro Show and the Talking Retro podcast with EmceeMur and Captain Retro.
And thank you, everybody, for 250 subs. I was excited to hit that. So upward here.
Congratulations, buddy. All right, man. We're out. Y'all have a great night.